Sorry for the technical difficulties on Instagram. We apologize. We'll still work on that in the near future. Instead, we'll be over here on YouTube. Thank you again. Double checking. It looks like some scores are being updated. It, two games going on right now. One should just be now be tipping off here in the next minute or so. But it looks as if we pull it up. 63-61. Texas A&M up on Michigan right now. 2-0 Auburn. So that game's just now starting.
Ooh, Creighton here, 3. Dagger.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Dagger.
Yes, sir.
Chalk it.
Chalk it. So again, that's you know, me being a KU a fan, it doesn't matter how bad it gets, even though this was by far the worst KU season I remember. I know the tournament streak continues, and I've never not seen KU play in the tournament. And we've seen first round exits before. I think this was the first one though since 2006. I think that was the Bucknell one. Ooh, do remember that one. Thought Wayne was going to hit that shot. He didn't. So again, I mean, you always see upsets, right? But then, we got spoiled there for a little bit. We saw ones lose to 16s, thanks Virginia, and I believe Purdue as well.
Yeep.
So we always thought it was going to be KU who was going to do this to us. Luckily, they weren't. We still aren't. So I think what softens the blow a little bit with the KU loss was Missouri looked like absolute shit against Drake. So that kind of softens it in K State, obviously.
K-State. Yeah.
Exactly. So let's kind of move through maybe some of these games tomorrow. I do like this Ole Miss Iowa State game. Uh, Ole Miss, Chris Beard knows what he's doing. Familiar with Big 12 teams, obviously. Familiar with Iowa State. They have some good guards. And Iowa State's kind of, I don't know if I'd say like completely folded, but they haven't looked good the last probably month of the season. So I have Iowa State winning this game. I don't know what your bracket looked like.
Yeah, I had Iowa State winning. I, that's one of those games where it's just like, and Iowa State's one of the teams where if they play at their best, they are a top 2 or 3 school in the nation. They just haven't played like that for a while. Um, Maybe they'll clean it up a little bit. Maybe that first round game gave them a little confidence. Uncle Mo's one hell of a thing. So just get it rolling a little bit, and anything is possible. But I do have Iowa State winning this, then losing to Michigan State just because I'll never not pick Tom Izzo and Michigan State to make deep runs in March. I think the history speaks for itself on that one. But yeah, I think the Ole Miss Iowa State game could really be one of the best games or worst games. Uh, it kind of has that potential. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of good guard play. I'm actually looking forward to the Duke Baylor game just for the simple reason that I would love to see Baylor knock Duke off. Um, I know I talk shit on Baylor. I'm one person who didn't think they deserved to even be in the tournament. But nothing makes a statement like you belonged here with at least getting that win against Duke. Um, if KU can't be in it, then Duke can't either. That's kind of my only reasoning. Truth be told, Cooper Flag is really good. Duke is really good. Um, if things go their way, there's no reason they can't meet up with Houston in the Final Four, which will be honestly that might be a better game than national championship if that matchup happens.
Kind of surprised you didn't go with Arizona, Oregon. I know I had Liberty. I had that was one of the ones I was like, well, if there's an upset, maybe Liberty, but Oregon looked like they didn't struggle much with them last night. So, and Arizona actually looked semi decent. And obviously, that's who KU played twice in a week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that BYU Wisconsin game I think actually will be the best game um, of this round of 32, second round, whatever you want to call it. Um, Crazy thing is I actually had BYU in the Elite Eight, so I might be a little biased when I say that, but this isn't your typical Wisconsin team that is going to beat you by scoring 50 points and holding you under it. They get out and go, uh, and I feel like BYU slept on a little bit. Um, it could be that they're in a conference with KU suck, but they're still going to get a lot of attention just given it's KU. you have your Houston and, even your Arizona is kind of the other big marquee programs, and then you just had BYU here, coasting right along. They're getting number one prospects on their like they have great recruiting classes, transfers, all that fun stuff. They're kind of being slept on, but I think that BYU Wisconsin game could be a thriller.
I kind of think my favorite stat was Big 12 is 6-1.
Hey, who
Yeah,
was the one loss?
yeah. So I guess we have that going for us
Yep.
as far as that goes. I kind of like the Illinois Kentucky matchup, and then the UCLA Tennessee game actually could be another one. I know you weren't too high on UCLA.
I had them losing first round, so
Yeah, which doesn't surprise me either. Tennessee, you never know what you're going to get with Tennessee, really. I do like that potential matchup with Tennessee and Kentucky after that. And then I had Duke, Arizona possibly as a Sweet 16 matchup as well. Uh, Looking further ahead, I had Duke and Bama. I think that would be a really good matchup as well. Um, any other games that kind of stick out? Houston Zaga. So let's talk about Gonzaga for a second and what Mark U typically does in March. I think they're an 8 seed, right?
yeah, this isn't your typical 1-8 matchup. Like, if
This
I'm
is
Houston, I'm like, what did I do to deserve this?
and it's one of those where it's like Zaga's made it to what the Sweet 16, what 8 straight years. So Houston can't really. We always talk about coaching matters. Zaga has a good coach, but Kelvin Sampson for Houston's also a good coach. That could actually end up being probably one of the better 8-9s or 1-8s that you see. Right? It's
Yeah, why didn't Houston? Why didn't they get like the Baylor 8 seed or something? Yeah,
well,
but and I think that's the same thing for Florida, right? Like their 8 seed is UConn. I know
going for a
UConn's kind
three-peat.
of down,
Yeah,
but they have won a couple natties in a row. They still have talent. Um, so we're kind of lucky. We actually I think we have four really good 1-8, 1-9 matchups with Auburn, Creighton, Duke, Baylor, Houston Zags, and then UConn. And I have to be careful. I put FU on my bracket,
yeah,
Florida, but uh, I think that's when games can really start get interesting. And if you're one of those seeds and you knock off the one seed, I think at that point, even if these are big time programs, like that's still going to be considered Cinderella run at that point, right? Like you took care of one of the top four teams, you kind of have the right to be kind of the darling at that point. So I think a lot of really good matchups for the one seeds. I think that goes to show how much college basketball has balanced. Um, we used to get your 8, 9 seeds were like the Robert Morris of the world.
exactly. So of those two, Florida and Houston, who would you give maybe an edge to maybe go down tomorrow?
To me, it's Florida. It's nothing to do with Florida's a really good team. Uh, but UConn, like I said, back to back natties. And let's be honest, they always had those random teams where like Shabazz Napier or who was the other guard that carried Kimba.
Kemba has
Even
seven.
those years where
Yeah,
they weren't supposed to do anything, like UConn kind of just has a way when come March time, randomly when you don't think they're any good. Um, I also think it's because I'm a really big believer in Houston. I mean they're my national champion, so it'd be I can't say that I think they have a better chance of losing when I have them winning it all. Um, but I wouldn't be shocked if any four of these one seeds go down. The biggest shock would be Duke, just given Baylor and them not being very good. But it wouldn't be like a huge surprise to see a one seed drop.
yeah. I had Houston in the championship game playing KU.
Someone has a little much Big 12 juice in their Kool Aid.
Well, and I love Houston, just what they've been able to do. Even when they came to the Big 12, everyone was thinking competition wise, competition. But then they just kind of ran through
They haven't even ran through, man. It's their conference.
it. It
Since
is.
they've joined, it's their conference. I'm a KU fan, obviously, through and through. I'm still gonna think KU's better, but since Houston's been in it, nobody's challenged them.
I think Houston has a tougher matchup. I mean,
Yeah, Zags are no joke.
you can look at UConn and Gonzaga as maybe the same, but I wouldn't. But yeah, I think Florida would be the first one I would pick to go down. Even though I do have them beating UConn, but I still think
Well, I think the most likely one seed, the first one seed to lose, will be Auburn. I just think they always live and die by just threes and just certain things that when they play a good under control team like Creighton, I think it can give them issues. Um, So I know the previous question was between Houston and Florida, but if I'm picking a 1 seed to lose, I'm 100% Creighton over Auburn would be my pick.
Yeah, yeah. I
Like you said, coaching matters,
coaching does matter.
and Creighton has a hell of a coach too.
Yeah, we got some good coach matchups. We had Patino and Cal earlier. I mean, that was a really good game. It was good back and forth, even though the officials were kind of ruining it, blowing whistles every 20 seconds. But I think that kind of cut into the flow. But at the same time, I think that kind of helped St. John's kind of make that run,
Yep.
right? So Arkansas would have more of a complaint as far as like slowing the flow, kind of getting them out of rhythm. Um, I thought we were questioning the other night when KU lost to Arkansas about the zone. Bill had only ran it 7 times or 7 possessions all season, and he played almost the whole second half in the zone, which was able to get us back in.
Yeah, I mean, we
Um,
can go into a deep dive of what we really think cost KU, but I don't know if we want to hit that right now or not.
nah, we won't. Thanks, Hunter.
Yeah,
Um,
strictly.
let's go. Trying to look. I think Maryland has a good chance of making a deep. I do just in watching what they were, and again, they played Grand Canyon, so again, you never know. But as far as like starting five goes, I like I really do like that Queen guy. He's a horse, dude. Like everything he was trying, the offense ran through him well. He was crashing glass. So I mean, I wouldn't put it. Maryland could be a sneaky good pick out of this bracket.
Yeah, I think they're one of the underrated teams. Let's not forget at one point they were one of the kind of, you can't say blue bloods, but I guess maybe one of the powerhouses. Early 2000. Like they're a proud school and they're pretty good. I think positionally the best team is going to be the winner of this Drake Texas Tech game.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, not again, and it's not to sleep on Arkansas, right? But if you're one of these schools and you get to play the 10 seed instead of the 7 seed, the 2 seed, any of those better seeds, right? Like positionally, typically your second round game wouldn't have a lot of emphasis. And I don't want to say they're guaranteed to win the next one, but I think the winner of this game would be absolutely stoked that they're facing Arkansas. Um, truth be told. So,
Well, it would honestly, it would be interesting to see how Drake defensive first, right? Like defensive team, what they were able to do. I mean, yes, Mizzou got back into the game the other night, but just watching how intense they play defense, right? Texas Tech's kind of the same. Like really, like I want to see how they were able to match up with a team like Arkansas. The big for Arkansas who just kept getting middle of the lane jump floaters the other night that killed us. He had a pretty good game today too.
and we do have a lead change. Michigan has taken the lead over A&M by 1.
Time,
There's still 550 left, so there's plenty of
so
game.
they got the under four coming up
Oh,
on
now
that.
they're up 3, so they're kinda on a big run, like I think it's 7-0 run here, and then Texas Tech's kinda pulled away a little bit by 7.
Still up seven. That
Yeah.
just started second half.
Yeah, they're about 5 minutes in.
Seven. All right, 5 minutes in. So again, those are going to come down to the wire. Hope
Creighton, Auburn are tied at 15 halfway through.
what's Auburn's looking like on threes right there. But again, on the Texas Tech Drake game, I do like both those teams and how they would match up with an Arkansas.
Creighton's
Just
5 of 8 from 3. Oh,
Creighton's
you
five,
said Auburn. Auburn's 3 of 7, sorry.
3 of 7.
Yeah,
Damn.
anyway.
Well, and it's always a law average, right? Like, are they going to shoot like this the whole game? More than likely, no. Is Auburn, but you got to careful because what did the guy say earlier when we were watching the St. John's game? Both teams are 2 of 19 combined, like both of them.
2 of 19 from 3? Yeah.
Yeah. So again, that's wild. So, in looking honestly, I don't know if Drake has enough firepower with Texas Tech. Toppin's a really good player. Um, again, I was talking to you when we were watching. It's still crazy to me. He was the Big 12 Player of the Year, well deserved, by the way. Uh,
Yeah, not a jab at him at all.
no, if you're a Big 12 Player of the Year, you're doing something right because it's again, yes, KU was down, but other teams were up. Like that, you still had Arizona, you still had Houston.
Iowa State was good most of the year.
Yeah, so I mean, still to get Player of the Year in the Big 12, and I know the 2 times that KU played against them, uh, he he was rock solid for them,
Yeah, that's not even a good measuring stick anymore. Like, what'd you do against KU? Oh, everyone did that.
right? Um,
No, so if you had to repick your national championship,
It
obviously you're gonna stick with Houston.
honestly, if if I would have actually like filled this out without KU going, St. John would have been my number two. Honestly, they
A
would have. Still love Zuby, love Rick Pitino. Um,
I think Florida has the best path
yeah.
to the Final Four at least.
So Maryland was my dark horse in this one. Texas Tech may also be a dark horse, but again, I'm gonna go back to Arkansas. They're getting healthy and they're starting to click at the right time. And
And as much as we hate Cal,
as much as we hate Cal and what he does, he still gets his guys up and ready to go.
he's a Hall of Fame coach for a reason. Whether you
Uh,
like him or not, he's there. So yeah,
and I like Boogie Flan. He really is good. I'm really impressed with the big guys. And then obviously Smith, who was shooting lights out against KU, hit some big threes for him down the stretch. So again, and then they had that Zizic guy
all right.
who,
So if you're picking one team to be in that natty over KU now, you sticking with Arkansas?
yeah, I would go Arkansas. I really would. Now you're going to give them a week to prepare and get healthier. Now that Boogie Flan's played 2 games,
Get his legs
got
back.
his legs back. Now they can get him into practice. Because that was Cal's fear the other, and he even said it after the game. He's like, I didn't know what he hasn't practiced. Like he warmed up, we felt good. They were going to limit him 15 minutes. He played like 24, I think. So yeah, and they got some guys that can come off the bench. Now's it. I mean, if there's ever a time to start fucking getting chemistry and figuring it out, it's now. So if not Arkansas, I do like Florida or UConn.
You can't just pick everyone.
Well, that's true. But
I think I know St. John was in the natty from this bracket from or this side for me, so I technically would need to pick a new one too. Um, I think the obvious choice would just to pick Michigan State since that's who I have in the Final Four losing to St. John.
that's why I had in the Final Four too. But
But I think with just me being me, um, if I wasn't looking at live scores or the game hadn't started yet, I would be kind of the wild ass Drake person's gonna make it over St. John now. Um, with all that being said, uh, I think I am gonna stick with Michigan State. I don't know. It's something about Tom Izzo. If I have to pick the Final Four replacement for St. John, I'm gonna go UConn. Get a UConn Michigan State Final Four. Um, that's mostly because I hate things going chalk. I don't want to see all ones and twos up there. Like, give me an 8, give me a
honestly,
six.
it was kind of setting up that way. 1-2s or 1-3s.
Yeah. So you're usually gonna see me not pick chalk or anything relatively close to it. Um, I guess even though I did have a 1, a 2, and what is a Michigan State? A 3, a 2. I guess I had a 1, a 2, a 2. So never mind. Everything I just said was a lie.
You're playing the analytics game.
Yeah. So I guess I was a lie. I'm a liar. Um, I do like your idea of Maryland being a sneaky one though. Um, there's some sneaky good teams in here, and I say sneaky just for the simple fact it's not the ones people are talking about or really going with. Um, so that's the only. I mean, they're what a 4 seed, so how sneaky can it really be? Um, but they are one of the teams that are slept on, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if we see them make a deep run.
Yeah. Again, it's gonna probably end up being fuck Colorado State beating them, right? Like that's just kind of how it is. Or
Yeah, every time we say someone's gonna win or pick someone to win, they just turn around and lose.
so sorry, Maryland, UConn, Florida, literally everyone that we've talked about, Arkansas. Sorry
Yeah,
about you guys.
Michigan's pulling away too, fam.
Sorry, Justin. Yeah, that's wild.
I didn't even have Michigan in this game.
I did have Michigan win. I do have Michigan Auburn playing.
I did have A&M losing this game,
I,
but
I
not to
had
Michigan.
I had A&M losing to Yale.
Damn.
So again, so let's go to the other side, right? It's like obviously I have Houston in the national championship.
Same.
So if not, Are you comfortable still with that, or
Oh yeah.
I think I am too. Just looking based on this Wisconsin team's kind of interesting too. They're gonna have a VCU, I guess, but
You
or
know
not VCU. That's gonna be BYU. Sorry.
you know what I kinda hope happens? I kinda hope Iowa State makes it from Auburn's bracket. I hope Texas Tech makes it from Florida's, and then Houston makes it from theirs, and then BYU from the other one.
That'd be fucking
So
wild.
people can realize, look, I'm not saying the SEC is not good, but like all of a sudden people just thought the Big 12 wasn't good. Like, yeah, KU was kind of down, but it's because also the competition was up. So I don't know. I felt like the Big 12 was kind of slept on because of the dominance and the amount of teams SEC got in. Um, so I think it'd be awesome. All Big 12 Final Four. You even can throw Baylor in one of those, right? Like or Arizona.
Yeah,
We got a lot of Big 12 in that
and
bracket.
if I'm being honest, I think Duke beats the brakes off Baylor. I really do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Um, and,
The Arizona game though, if it goes like it's supposed to,
and I know Baylor also had injuries throughout the season, but if there was a team that had a more disappointing season, then I mean, it used to be KU Baylor, right? It used to be KU Baylor, back when times were much simpler. You know, they won the Natty. Then the year after that, we won the Natty.
Texas Tech made it once.
Texas Tech
Didn't win it, but
didn't win it, but that was a good team too. That was wild. Um, yeah, I don't think Baylor has a chance against Duke. Really,
we have BYU in that bracket,
we do
bruh.
have BYU in that bracket. I'm not as high on BYU, obviously, because I'm losing first round.
My
Um,
gosh. That's
yeah,
what I'm talking about, folks. Slept on.
yeah. I thought VCU was VCU, right? Like, apparently not. It's not the Shaka team.
But in all honesty, if it's not Duke or Houston, it would be kind of surprising because I think those are your two best teams in basketball, especially when healthy. Obviously, anything can happen in March, but straight up, if it's not Duke Houston, college basketball fans will kind of be robbed of a really good game.
Well, I had Bama and Houston in the Final Four. Um, I like Bama. I like their coach. He's he's actually built a pretty nice foundation there, and they've been consistently well. I know they have 8 losses on the season, and they had some pretty bad losses down the stretch, but it's still a tournament experienced team, tournament experienced coach, and they made a deep run last year too, if I believe remember correctly. But again, Houston's also a very experienced group, and very experienced coach. So I mean, you never know, and that's what I think that's what makes this event so fun, right? So, and again, honestly, Arizona could beat Duke, right? Like Arizona takes care of Oregon, and we could even throw Oregon in there just based on how they looked last night. But again, Liberty's not quite Arizona,
Yeah, and
right?
I still get stuck on like the Oregons and the UCLA's being Pac-12, and we all know how I felt about Pac-12, specifically basketball. Um, these are different teams in the Big Ten. Um, I don't know if it helped recruiting or what, but specifically Oregon. And I know they had some good years and good runs when they were in the Pac-12 as well. Um, I still when I think of them, I still think Pac-12. So um, still not confident about UCLA, even though they won. But I think you're spot on with Oregon. I know I have Arizona winning, but Oregon could, to put it politely, beat the brakes off Arizona.
They could,
Um,
yes, and that's a good old Pac-12 rivalry right there.
yeah, a little renewed throwback for them Pac-12 fans. It's for you, Bill Walton.
It's for you, Bill Walton. Um, Illinois, Kentucky. What Illinois team is gonna show up,
They're
right?
they're the ones that are going to lose by the most in the second round.
You think Kentucky handles them fairly easily?
I do.
So I mean, I picked Kentucky to win that game, and then Tennessee to beat Kentucky. I mean, let's talk about Tennessee for a second, right? Talk about an experienced coach who just doesn't quite have that success in March. Kind of underperformed down the stretch. They were a number one team at one point. We understand that. Differences they were differences they were able to maintain.
uh,
They were able to maintain top 10, top 12 ish status, whereas it got so bad for KU down that stretch where they just got knocked out of the top 25,
deservingly.
deservingly. Yes. So Tennessee's another team that honestly you just don't know what Tennessee team's going to show up. Yes, it's Wofford, right? But again,
I'll be on board if UCLA, not even UCLA wins, but makes it a good game at least. Because you're not wrong. Tennessee, they might be the most hot and cold team, and I don't know if that's like a Rick Barnes effect.
it could be. It could be.
I mean, we remember some of his old Big 12 days.
Yeah, and he had loaded teams, right? I mean, he had Kevin Durant, those guys, and obviously, I mean, that was still when KU was still thriving and doing well.
Throwback.
Throwback. Um, but again, yeah, I don't I don't know. I still think Illinois can make it a game, but Kentucky's really good. They actually obviously new coach,
I'm just not sold on Illinois.
well, a completely new roster for Kentucky too, but they actually made it work this year, right? It's like you're still a
Did they beat the brakes off of Xavier?
I don't think it was like a huge win, like a massive win.
And again, Xavier's one of those experienced like 11 seeds, so that's not the Woffords of the world, right? So
They were a playing team too, so I mean, they do what you're supposed to do against a team like that.
I don't know. I just look at this Houston Gonzaga game. I just think the winner of that game has the easiest road um in this one, right? Like
Yeah, this isn't a very strong bracket.
because now you're going to be facing, and again, it's nothing against Purdue. I do think they're a good team, but I feel like Houston and Gonzaga, especially if Gonzaga wins, then we can rightfully. I just don't think Purdue's at that level.
Well,
And then you're going to be facing either UCLA, Tennessee, Kentucky, Illinois out of that bottom. As good as I think Kentucky is or can be, I still don't think they're on the level of specifically Houston. But if the Zags pull it off, then you're kind of like, well, are they even on the level of Zags at this point?
I think Purdue can defensively make some case. I mean, you're looking at two contrasting styles in Houston and Gonzaga compared to what Purdue is, right? So Purdue can slow tempo, kind of get half courts going instead of getting into a run and gun. If you're getting in a run and gun with Houston, you're no, more likely you're not going to win.
Yeah, but I still think Houston, again, statistics may not back it up. I'm just a gut feeling. I still feel like they're a really dominant half court defense too. They do take a step back on the offensive side when it
Yeah,
comes to half court,
yeah.
which I think most teams do, right? Like if you can get out and run and get easy buckets, you're typically going to thrive a little bit. But I still think Houston is just too good in the half court defensively. And then so now do you get out and run to get yourself easy buckets, which is playing into what they would prefer.
Exactly.
So I think that they're the hardest team to, you get out and run, thank you, says Houston.
Right.
You get in and try to play your half court offense. I just man to man, there's not a better. I don't know. It's
Well,
tough.
and I think if Houston matched up with Purdue, they're going to full court
Oh yeah.
press, try to speed it up, try to get some turnovers. I know Purdue had a shit ton of turnovers. Because I even made the comment of, damn, I wish KU would have had, we had
I think at one point they had the 17 turnovers is what they said, but they were still up by like 6 or 7 at that point,
exactly. So I was kind of like, dang.
or 16 or 17. It was a little larger than I thought.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, they were able to overcome turnovers. Whereas, you know,
But you can't against Houston or Gonzaga.
exactly. So I mean, you're gonna have to obviously clean it up. You're gonna have to play a little bit better all around because again, each round, right? Each round's gonna get a little tougher, and you're gonna probably play a little more tighter than what you normally would. Because again, McNeese could have beat this guy. I mean, McNeese is kind of a high powered, high scoring team in their own right. But at the end of the day, when especially when you're turning the ball over at the rate Purdue was, and you still weren't able to kind of get into a rhythm, get into a thing. I don't know. It was different because McNeese was able to. They should have
Force
tech.
that many turnovers. Yeah.
Well, and they should have ran Clemson out of the gym, but Clemson came back, obviously, right? So again, maybe it was because of so much pressure towards the end of the game that maybe McNeese first ran out of gas today. Not sure what it was. I do like Purdue as like a sneaky team out of this one, just based on coaching and some of the players that they do have. I mean, they
Yeah,
got
that's still an experienced roster, right? Like I was about to say they had a couple deep runs. They did lose as the 1 seed with Edie, but then they had the runner up run, so it's not, they still have some experience. And that's why it's like it's nothing against Purdue. I still just when it comes to the firepower of Houston or even the lockdown of Houston and Gonzaga, I don't know.
yeah. Well,
Like
one
I Houston or Gonzaga, I think the winner of that, I don't want to say easily handles Purdue, but I technically it's going to be a pretty simple game, I think, especially if you give Few or Samson a week.
yeah, I think that's the
Um,
big thing is
you're
you're
not facing them
you're
after
done
2
after
days.
today. Now
Yeah.
you're going to your different region. You're going to now you're going for a chance to go to the Final Four essentially,
Yep.
right? So you got a score update before we hop off here.
Yeah, so A&M, they got down pretty big. Um, made a couple buckets. They're down to 5 with a minute 40 left. So that might end up being a pretty tight March Madness finish. Drake's trying to hang around. Um, they're a defensive team though. They're not used to coming from behind, so it's been a little struggle to get it under that 4 or 5 point range. But that's where they're keeping it. Right now, down 5 with 9 minutes left, and then Creighton and Auburn are just 25-25, just super even game.
Perfect. Well, let's go catch the end of that. Which one?
A&M Michigan.
Yeah, let's go catch the end of that one, and then see what happens from there. So
I hope y'all's favorite teams are still in it. If not, let's hop on the underdog bandwagon, or at the very least, just let's all root against Duke.
let's all root against Duke. All right, so that'll do it for our special check-in for March Madness. We'll be back at our normal time on Wednesday with Matt from OC News 365. We're going to break down offense and defensive line prospects, and we will talk to you guys then.